But the primary reason I take theater gigs is fear of not having gigs, right? So I can put a theater gig on the calendar and know that, all right, I'm going to be able to play this. And that was especially true during like COVID times, right? When there were no gigs. It was like, I can take theater gigs. But what'll happen is I'll take a theater gig for 6 months out thinking, oh yeah, I don't know if this band's going to be working as much or that band, there's other things going on. So I'll take a theater gig and then it's like, well, the time comes. It's like, turns out Dave's got lots of other options for gigs and I'm going to take them. So, I wind up, the only theater gigs I take are ones that aren't entire weekends of shows.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like some of these theater gigs that I'm offered are like, oh, it's 6 weeks of 7 shows a weekend. And it's like, Dave's not your guy, like doesn't work for me.
Dave does not bang drum.
Dave doesn't bang that drum that much. That's right. I got to like work and do other things. But I will take these ones that are like in rotation with another show at the theater where it'll be 2 gigs one weekend and nothing the next weekend or whatever. And so I'll take these. And sometimes the scheduling gods smile upon me and wind up having, the bands that I'm in have gigs like on the off nights. And it's like, woohoo, it's like dancing through a minefield. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But other times you hit the landmine. And there have been times where, like, for example, I have one gig I need to sub out for some theater show coming up in like May or whatever. And it's because I have an outdoor gig that day with Bitter Pill. Now, we all know that at the last minute, an outdoor gig can be canceled because of the rain, right? Mm-hmm. And so in those moments, I've always thought, well, wait a minute, I'm the primary drummer on this show. I'm the one that everyone in the band and cast is comfortable with. But I need to have a sub at the ready, on standby, prepared for the gig, and like keeps their schedule open and is ready to go, planning to go. But if at the last minute Dave's available, the primary drummer is available, my feeling is you pay the sub and thank them for their time and go play the gig, and like, because that's the best thing for the show.
Yep.
And your idea of having a sub that you pay on standby, I think this is good business.
It's what I did 2 summers ago. I basically paid him money ahead of time to reserve X dates and to practice and to learn the repertoire. And then if he would have had to have taken the gig, he would have gotten paid on top of that.
Okay, that's fair.
But he did not have to take the gig. And what we did learn, though, is that that maybe isn't the best. It's a great option if you don't have the ability to do what we've just done, because back then we did not have it was like either there's no drummer or there's a sub drummer. Like that was the only options. And I was actually kind of surprised when the band said they would almost rather play a small town festival with backing drum tracks instead of an actual drummer. But I actually get it, because that is when you're as tight of a show as many of us are that listen, that play to click tracks and backing tracks, and how the songs are supposed to go. Bringing a sub in is a big deal. You don't realize how much your ears cue in on the same way someone sings something or the same drum fill. You don't think about it that way. You just go, oh yeah, I know that we're going into the chorus now. But if I don't do the exact same drum fill that I did the last 20 shows, that might kind of throw somebody off a little bit.
It definitely can.
Where are we? Yeah.
Yeah. I've always said the best thing is for a band, for every band member to know every other band member's parts.
Completely.
But it's not always the case, right?
Not with a sub.
Especially not with a sub, right? Yeah, exactly. So those little cues that keep you on the rails during a gig, not if they're not there.
And there's something to be said about comfort level too. It's so hard to play with the sub sometimes, because like we said, you're paying more attention to them to make sure they're doing what they need to do, and you're not focusing on your stuff. So
yes,
we'll see what happens. It's kind of tough. You got to have a very trusted sound guy for any type of these things, and bass guitar seemed pretty easy. I asked him, he's like, oh, you fed it to me as an audio file. I EQ'd it as I would normally would a bass, and everything sounded great. But with drum, with individually, like, here's the kick, here's the snare, here's the hat, that's going to get that's going to get pretty interesting. So you can't just show up at a local club and be like, by the way, we got our drums tracked and you're going to run this through your system. Like, you got to have a trusted front of house person that knows you guys, that knows what he's doing. So we're going to maybe try it at a sound check someday. Just be like, because I want to stand in the crowd and I want to hear what this actually sounds like. And so might just run one song, because that's a lot of work. Also, I should mention the work of taking stems and putting them into place in a song in an Ableton session.
Yes.
Just doing the bass stems took me probably 2-3 hours to line everything up, make sure they're where they need to be, make sure they're set up from the right outputs.
Right.
So I can't imagine what the drums will take, but we don't want to do the whole thing. We're going to do one song and see if this is an actual option.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, a little litmus test. That's good.
And then we'll start throwing in, I think then we might start throwing in some vocal, like certain parts of vocal songs to reinforce. I mean, we've got them all now. So I think the sky's the limit, and we've kind of gotten to the point of our career where we just are embracing any sort of ease of technology that we can. We're getting older. It's harder sometimes to play 3 shows in a row at that high of a level. So if we can have these little enhancements that, by the way, all the pros use, if we could just kind of have those enhancements for us, it's the thing we always say, audiences don't know. They don't know. They don't care.
No.
As long as it sounds really good, they're going to be very happy.